making noises for fun. Bum, 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 bum. This is the wrong sci-fi setting for this song. Bum, bum, bum. But this game sure do be taking its time. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all having a good day, good and rich day. It's 30 seconds in, but you know, I can't help. I'm compelled to make noises. What can I say? It's a character flaw. Alright, where we last left off, we'd seized control of our ship. And then I did like the first little meeting offline because the game wouldn't let me save yet. But we are now ready to venture into the starting system. God, such good music, chat. I'd be tempted to start using it in my videos. I'd be if I was more of a demon character, though. I think we ought to stick to the dungeon synth. Alright. They want me to use the system map, but I want to talk to my wife, Argenta.
Rogue trader.
You said you have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue trader. The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in Von Valancia's territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans?
I shall grace the children with my benediction. Make arrangements for a meeting worthy of a rogue trader. I will address the orphans with a speech.
As you wish, rogue trader. Thank you for granting my request.
Marry me. A group of adolescents, clearly dressed in their finest, freshly pressed clothes, forms a straight line before you. Some stare at you with wide eyes like you're some mythical creatures, while others huddle together in fear and look away. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It is hardly the Schola Progenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Argenta is standing to the side of the group. At your approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing, "Brave ones! The master of this ship has appeared before you. He who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House von Valancius." You notice Infernus Master Heinrich Montag standing a few paces away from the orphans. He watches you with approval and bows respectfully when you meet his gaze. Hey, Pessoa, welcome in. I, the rogue trader and Lord Captain of this ship, speak to you now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause, and brought honor to the Von Valancius banners, and those of the Imperium. I am proud of them, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. The teenagers hang on your every word with bated breath. Only a few at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed by your speech. How you doing, Pessoa? How's your day been? One of the scowling visitors with a thin scar across his face tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what?" No, that's the wrong voice. "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you noble lot, and you just give us speeches?" I'm doing alright. I unfortunately had a very productive day. So I'm tired. Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants to both calm him and scold him for his impudence. Four. Yeah. Rest assured, you will not be abandoned. You will be taken care of. You can tell by their bright eyes that your words and the very fact of meeting the rogue trader in the flesh have left an indelible impression on them. Young ones, you won't recognize... No, he said, young ones, you won't recognize them in a year or two. They'll learn to salute and speak when permitted by their superior officer. But right now, clowning around is all they know. Argenta rubs her temples pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Well, it's always good to see you here, Pessoa. Thump, 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 thump. Let's go talk to Montag. The Infernus Master nonchalantly lights an Iho stick from the thermal cutter and spreads his arms in a welcoming gesture. "Heinrich Montag at your service." He smells of cinders and Iho. His face is sooty and his belt is laden with a number of heavy tools. His shirt is stained. His brow is sweaty. His palms are red. Mom's spaghetti. Remind me who you are. I am just a humble laborer in charge of putting out fires and dealing with emergencies, but everyone calls me the Infernus Master. Guess this is because I answer for them with my life. With your life, you say? That's right. Picture flames roaring. All the ship's systems have failed, including the artificial gravity. You can't make out anything because of the red-hot debris, and you know an explosion is coming. It's a nightmare, but it's your job to evacuate the panicked crew, eliminate the cause of the fire, and get the compartment back in working order. Of course, the job description doesn't allow me to risk my life now. He smiles, sadly. It's all about management these days, sending the boys and girls into the fire, but it's all nonsense. And if the going gets tough, I won't leave them there alone. What sorts of emergencies does the Infernus Guild deal with? Oh, there are many. Accidents due to external factors, for example. Hits from enemy guns or collisions with hollow objects like the wreckages of other ships. There's plenty of internal causes as well, from system malfunctions to short circuits to problematic cargo. A couple of years ago something blew up in the hold, nearly burned it to a crisp. And then there's sabotage. That Voidverse snake did a lot of damage to the ship. I have other questions. How did you come to be in the service of the Von Valentius dynasty? Not in the usual way. My ancestors wronged yours and were appointed Inferni as a result. Hard labor, deadly risks, plenty of opportunities to atone. Those criminals have been dead for generations, but we're still serving their time. Maybe we'll find redemption one day. Tell me more about the Infernus Guild. What interests you the most? Our duty, our state-of-the-art equipment, our vibrant traditions? How's the guild organized? The Infernus service is split into different bridges according to duties. The heart of the guild are, of course, our liquidators. Tough guys with nerves of steel who put out fires and pull people from the flames. Others are repairmen, dealing with the problems like jammed doors, fuel leaks, or broken vents. And then there's the walking inspectors who check the decks to make sure that nothing is blocking any passages or access to communication lines. State-of-the-art equipment, that sounds interesting. The Infernus Master smiles guiltily. That was a bit of a stretch, I'm sorry. There is no state-of-the-art equipment. The risks of ruining it in a fire are too great. We get by using human resources and the most common items available. Respirators, fire extinguishers, and flame-retardant uniforms. Let's face it, the lives of the Inferni are not worth much. It's more important that we save the machines and minimize damage to the ship. We have plenty of those, like the reminders. Heinrich rolls up his sleeve, revealing a tattoo inscribed over an old burn mark. When you survive a particularly hopeless accident, you get a tattoo on your scar. You can always tell an experienced Infernus by their ink. It's like a badge of honor of sorts. How'd you get your reminders? This one is from the time plasma leaked out from the outer aft circuit. Imagine yourself clinging to the hole outside, thermal cut in one hand, a magnetic clamp in the other, as your flames burst from the breach, the kind that can incinerate you in a second. All that separates you from death is a flimsy rope and a void suit more ancient than holy terror, and yet the price I paid was nothing compared to my comrades. He slowly moves the augmented fingers in his right hand. As for this one, the look he directs at his left hand is full of bitterness. I got this one in the ammo depot where my wife Elsinora died. There was a fire, and the flames were getting close to the ammunition. And I don't mean auto gun rounds. These were macro cannon shells. We put out the fire as best we could, but we were losing. Suddenly, Elsie took my hand, kissed me, and ran straight into the blaze and activated the emergency blast door. We stayed outside while she vented the compartment. Heinrich gives a tender smile, gazing at the smoke. It was quite a story. I'm sorry for your loss, Heinrich. He nods gratefully and takes another puff. That is enough for now, Heinrich. Never let your fire go out, Lord Captain. No! Heinrich hurriedly waves his hands. That's just a stupid little gilding joke. Seriously, if you see an Infernus next to a naked flame, run. Okay. Bridge officer, servitor, bridge. Oh my god, I love bridge. Let's talk to Vox Master Victus. I like her. I think she's cute. If she had actual hair. A thin, pale woman stands out amongst the rest of the crew. There's a thick bundle of cables coming out of the back of her skull and disappearing under her ceremonial garment. And you see the grate of a quietly humming Vox where her mouth should be. The woman sees you and bows her head in a respectful greeting. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. The Voxmaster nods obediently and presses several switches on the device she's holding. It is done, Lord Captain. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. That will be all for now. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Actually, I do need to finish talking to Argenta.
Greetings.
Oh, maybe I don't. The Emperor protects. Oh, I'll take Combat Master, absolutely. And we'll take Weapon Skill. You, Ballistic Skill. We always dump Ballistic Skill on Argenta. Point Blank is good, but I think there's a few better ones. There's one that makes it so that she basically gives her an ability so she won't hit. She won't do friendly fire. Melee weapon, Melta, Nimble. Maybe not. I could take the Bolt Weapon Expert. I don't think I will, though. Let's take Exploit Surroundings, because I usually end up putting Argenta behind cover quite a bit. Operative, I don't give a fuck. You are hard to use. Thick Skin. Ramming speed is nice, don't get me wrong. But we want to do... this one. Makes him harder to hit. And then we take Toughness. Because it's important Abelard be a tough old bastard.
Greetings.
Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
How did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the cultist attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, where crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I had barely recovered from my wounds when the cultists struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more. And it's bound to happen someday.
Is it difficult for you to accept that you made a mistake?
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Where did this happen?
on one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to that planet and deal with the Chaos Worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valanci's protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
What was it like traveling on Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistics systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperors. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the cultists.
Beast!
And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place.
Beast!
I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
May it be bright indeed, sister. I don't have any more questions, thank you.
As you wish.
Okay. Talk to Master Helmsman. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscle. Blue veins snake under his white, almost dove-colored skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Cotton, Master Helmsman Ravor, at your service. Remind me, who are you? I'm the Master Helmsman, Lord Cotton. I stand at the wheel of this here tub, I mean your vessel, and bark commands at the idiots who tend to its related systems. In layman's terms, I'm the one who stops us from running into an asteroid or disruptive gravitational wave when we're traveling through the void. Do you control the ship in real space? I wish that was my only job. I have to steer through the warp too, but most of the credit for that goes to the navigator. The warp's a nightmare, always tossing up something new. All my years at the helm, they count for nothing in there. My part's small enough, I just monitor our systems, follow the charted route, and I don't kick up a fuss when new orders come in from the navigator's sanctum. Real space now, that's where I keep my eyes peeled. Gravitational anomalies, void currents, odd radiation, the kind of shit shows up everywhere. I think the Emperor, the augurs on this vessel are holding up, and so far we've been able to spot everything if something's bad coming our way. I might have had a little stroke there, chat. And who are these idiots you are in charge of? There's too many of them to list. Deck priests from the Engineerium, voidsmen from the augur decks, the work-shy fools on the bridge. I'd have every last one of them flogged. They all need a wake-up call. I need to be whipped into shape or else this ship will be going nowhere. Or even worse, it'll go somewhere we don't want it to. Right you are, Captain. You are Voidborn, are you not? That I am. Born into a helmsman clan in the bowels of this Chartist vessel. Studied the family trade until I was 15, then me entire clan was butchered in a mutiny by lower old scum. I spared the youngins, course I did, kids with implanted connectors, my great navigational servitors, but I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me, so I escaped into the crawlways, and then I spent months picking them off, one after the other. Revel stops abruptly. You got me talking up a storm. Anyway, I'm Voidborn. Please finish your story, Revel. Revel stays silent for a few seconds. Not much to tell. I gutted everyone I could get to, and then I fled upward to the middle decks. That's where the Ogre operators took me under their wing. They have apprentice salesmen of their own up there, you see. Nobody asked me any questions, so I stayed. I grew up, trained, got smarter, then ended up a junior helmsman. A dozen years later, Danrock spotted me and lured me away, the cheeky blighter. I can see you're not a gregarious sort. Revel's eye twitches, which makes the grimace on his face even uglier. Have I done something to displease the Lord Captain? I'm merely sharing an observation. Revel gives you a careful look and scoffs. Right you are. It's not hard to see that I'm in a foul mood. I'm not the only one to blame for it, you know. Revel points at the cables around himself. Connecting wires. Once they go into the control panel, I become one with the ship. Except the bloody cogs messed up the wires. Stimulus injectors and connectors when they implanted them. They twisted the wires the wrong way. I burned something in me noggin. Anyways, I can't sleep. It just don't happen anymore. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and a splitting headache. So you'll forgive me if I'm not all smiles, Lord Captain. Then I must take my leave. Lord Captain? Alright. Chatty chat. Chat. We should talk to Abelard.
Lord Captain?
Let's talk about things that may be useful to me as the rogue trader.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Outline the situation in the Coronis Expanse for me. What do I need to know and keep in mind?
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And, if you permit, in my own words. The Coronis Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Coronis Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Coronis Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse. And in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
Who are the main players I need to be aware of in the Coronis Expanse?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness. Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Caligos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them. If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces, and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis expanse.
Conrad, our previous master of whispers, what can you tell me about his betrayal? What do you think he'll do next?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes.
Abelard is a next-level hater.
Committed his treachery
You cannot begin to hate like an Abelard does.
Oversight.
You will never be as big of a hater as Abelard. Nobody you know will ever be as big of a hater as Abelard. Abelard, the type of motherfucker to go out, pay hundreds of dollars to an artist to spend hours of their life doing an oil painting of somebody he doesn't like. Let's say you, to do an oil painting of you with a hole in your head just so he can admire it. Next level hater shit, and I gotta respect it.
We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the Von Valacius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps.
That is all for now.
As you wish, Lord Captain.
I'd like to know more about my essential.
As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know?
Tell me about yourself. What were you before you became Theodora's seneschal?
I used to be an officer in the Navis Imperialis. No, a used to be is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling, the essence of my life. I was proud to serve Lord Captain Theodora, but in my heart and mind, I'm still an officer of the Imperium. I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcement to the rogue trader's army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then, that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy and join the rogue trader's personal council. It was a difficult choice for me. But I saw in the offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force. One who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the Expanse.
Leaving the Imperial Navy is far from easy. Why were you permitted to quit your post?
You could say there was no one among the naval command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader. To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. Well, the Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy. Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world. And which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue. The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates.
Oh, hey Rosalie, welcome in.
On occasion, in the heat of an official
Thanks for
briefing,
joining us today.
or
How's
an
your day
informal
going?
discussion, I violated those rules.
We're just
determined
playing
to
some
press my
rogue
point.
trader.
It is challenging to choose
So I
the
get to
words
stretch
to
my
accurately
voice
express
acting
my opinion
chops.
on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting
My day
a
going
person
great.
of my
That's
rank.
good to hear. That's good to hear. Especially for a Monday, you know. I had a very productive day myself. Yeah, I saw. Oh, have you been lurking around for a little while? I only watch the OBS stuff, and OBS doesn't actually give me a viewer counter. So when people lurk, I just kind of have no idea they're here. What game do you play mostly on stream? Kind of whatever's striking my fancy at the time. So recently I was doing like Stellar Blade. And right now I'm kind of in a transitionary period. Let's see here. I think I have this today. What am I doing on Wednesday? Fuck it, I'm making my life too hard. Chat, you get to look at my Steam library for a little bit. That's cool. Where's my fucking schedule? Here we go. Schedule. What did I schedule for Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday is more Rogue Trader, but then Saturday I'm picking Nier Automata back up, which is, you know, a similar vibe to Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is a fun game, by the way. If you haven't played it, highly recommend. But I do mostly like single player stuff, partially because like multiplayer games I get very frustrated. PNG model looks cool. Did you make it yourself? No, I'm not that talented. I have to commission all my stuff, which is part of why I end up reusing it for so long, because then it's like, oh well, car broke down this month, so, you know, no new assets. The way you talk about Theodora, I'm beginning to think you were in love with her.
What? Lord Captain, any allegations of
Right
improper
now,
feelings or
though, we're
unsanctioned
working
relations are utterly
on
baseless and bordering on the insulting.
Yeah, my friend
Utterly
Arna got
baseless.
me helped get me over 50 followers. So the new goal I'm working on is trying to get affiliate, I think is what it's called, which is basically I just have to get like 3 average viewers per stream, I think, or something like that. Yeah, so I'm doing my best. Doing my utterly baseless. Well, do you have a family?
I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11. My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any
So what do you
eagerness
think,
or aptitude
emotes?
for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps.
What do I think emotes? Oh, do you mean what do I think of my emotes? I do have some emotes, but I'm not actually able to use them, apparently, because I'm not an affiliate. So that's part of why that's my goal, is because it's like, well, I have these, and I can't use them. Well, that's ridiculous. Why would I have something and not use it? Which, unfortunately, in order to be able to use it, I have to be
Of course.
successful. I must take my leave. Until next time, Seneschal. But they're really good emotes.
Lord Captain,
I like them. I like my emotes. On your base model. Oh yeah. I don't have any on this. I would like to. It's something that I've been kicking around. But it's a money thing more than anything else. And then the other thing is I actually... Technically, the PNG I use is outdated. I have a new... A new character sheet. It's my banner. But I'll show it off because, you know, I don't really get to show my stuff very often. Should be here under commission resources. And then... yeah, here. Is that going to open on the right screen? I'm thinking... There we go. So you can see my current character sheet. So, you know, this PNG is a little outdated. So if I do continue on to a different reactive, which he looks kind of short. If I do move on to a different reactive, it's going to be more like this in this outfit. So I have to kind of start over from scratch, which is fine. Yeah, I don't mind doing that. It's growth. It's innovation. But what I'd like to... So why are you using a PNG model? Why not use a 3D or 2D one instead? Well, I'm using a PNG model because this PNG that you see right now is like $50 or something like that. Which it's very easy for me to come up with like somewhere between $45 and $50, especially at my old job. Whereas recently I've been pretty much paycheck to paycheck. So it's a lot harder to scratch together the $400 to $600 for a decent 3D or 2D. Because I would like to go like full VTuber and stuff. And then the other thing I've been kicking around for a while, is I kind of want to I would like to go with a different visual style, get like more of a retro 80s anime look, and do that on a live 2D, which is even more money, because of course, whenever I have creative, unique ideas, it's always gonna be expensive, because I hate myself. I just sit around all day long in my one-bedroom apartment that I can barely afford. You know what would be a really great idea? A gold-plated toilet seat. Think of all the wonderful uses of a gold-plated toilet seat. That's what it feels like, anyways. Lord Captain, Astropathic Choirmaster Zachary Weiss is asking to speak to you via private channel. Greetings, your lordship. I can report that the choir is listening tirelessly to the Immaterium in hope of picking up voices from the dynasty's ships or worlds. However, we have heard something horrifying. Amid the Immaterium's tumult, something is screaming. The scream is driving your choir mad. Until it stops, we have no hope of contacting any of the dynasty's worlds. It's coming from the Recalled System's Astropathic Station. I'm glad you like the idea, though, Rosie. The other thing I want to do is, you saw I had a tail on the PNG. I want to have that tail be, like, floating around in the background, like, behind my model, so to speak, when I eventually do get, like, a live 2D. And then I want my ears to be, like, tied in to, like, the motion of my eyes, so that whenever I blink, they, like, twitch. I think that'd be fun. But I don't know how possible that necessarily is. Mostly just because I don't care to actually do the research to find out. Because I'm lazy. Which is why I'm a streamer. I'm supposed to be a YouTuber too, but I haven't made a video in like 6 months. If you don't mind, you can share your idea with me. I'm excited to hear it. Oh, yeah, no, I love sharing my ideas. I do not think we've been introduced. Indeed not. We met, and when we meet under lamentable circumstances. My name is Zachary Weiss. I'm proud to be the choir master of your ship's Astropathic Choir. The duty I perform is to keep you in contact with the Expanse via astropathic messages sent through the warp by train psychos. I follow you on Twitter. Oh, you do? Well, that's always good to know. I'm never... I have a lot of Twitter followers, and I'm never sure if they're real people or not. So if you follow me on Twitter, then that means you saw the femboy art that we got commissioned when we hit the 50 follower thing. What is the nature of this scream? We do not know, your lordship, but it has brought the Immaterium to a boil. It has always been a violent, roaring ocean that could spell doom to any who would consider stepping into its waters. Now, however, it has become a cradle of madness, where expelled images fuse together, twisting and crackling before crashing into the minds of all who perceive it. A mighty warp storm the likes of which I cannot recall rages in the Empyrean, and it fills me with terror. That is possible. Well, it's good to have you drop by. I've never seen you in my streams before, so I'm glad to see you here. It's always good to have a. It's good to have that audience crossover. Like, actually, it's very Fuck. What's the word? You wouldn't believe it by how slow I can be, but I'm technically a writer. Uplifting? That's not the right word. The opposite of demoralizing, which I can only think of as moralizing, which doesn't make sense. But it makes me feel really happy to see you here. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, we're gonna have to pay a visit to that station. Thank you. Anyways, we gotta do this short little dungeon here to rescue the royal brat. Your idea is awesome and is possible. I'm glad you think so. Someday when I have money, I'll even get to show off how good of an idea it is, right? Someday. Someday. I just need either A, less bills, or B, more money. I think I'm most likely to get B, but it's a toss-up these days. I hear the army will be hiring soon, though. To the card.
Repentance in prison is but a weak shadow of a true transformation of the soul. Only in battle, by abjuring the flesh and cloaking the soul in flame, can one earn absolution.
Sometimes it suits the Imperium's functionaries to have a criminal spend the rest of his days toiling in a pit, working for the good of the righteous, until his last breath.
Based, Abelard, based. Ah, Pilot Raquel. What do you mean paused? Unpause. Affirmative escort. Everything is calm on my end. Vicari out. The young woman stares at you, adjusting her uniform nervously. Your lordship! 1,000 pardons if I addressed you improperly. Have you come on behalf of Governor Medina, or are you here on other business? If it's the latter, you ought to know there's been a riot at the local prison. It's quite dangerous here. Kindly you follow me back? Yeah, sure, I can do that as soon as I'm done. It's just Rosalie VTuber, right? So I know what I'm looking for. Bow before the illustrious. I am Rogue Trader Baldwin IV von Valancius. Now introduce yourself. At once, sir. The woman stands at attention. Captain Raquel Vicari, servant of House Winterscale and the pilot of this shuttle. It is an honor to be greeting his lordship von Valancius. What happened here? There's been a prison riot on the planetoid. Sadly, it's being led by the prison warden himself, the Honorable Anathagan Casteglia? Whatever. He has allied himself with the rabble that he was supposed to watch, and declared Ricardia Filia to be independent of the authority of the system's lawful governor. I came here as a shuttle pilot alongside the Honorable Ervain Winterscale, son of Caligos Winterscale, rogue trader, vanquisher of Xenos forever triumphant over the enemies of humanity. She details, enunciating every word of her overlord's title. Young Lord Winterscale wished to speak to the warden personally. The Honourable Lord means to put an end to this lawless treason. He and his escort left to meet with the insurgents, while I was ordered to await their return. Yeah. Yeah! Vain, Abelard mutters, stroking his beard. One of his distant younger offspring, yes. That's as much as I know about him, which means he hasn't distinguished himself in any meaningful way. The Warden himself is spearheading the riot. Ow. Whoops, hit the wrong one. Yes, she bites her lip. No one expected this. Master Casteglia is a nobleman from a respected governor house and a vassal of House Winterscale. All of a sudden, he proclaimed that Ricardia Filia was now his personal domain, that the prisoners were his subjects, and that he would never bow to anyone ever again. It's pure heresy. And I take it they're looking forward to a diet of sand and gravel. What kind of madman would start a revolt on a barren rock? Why would young Winterscale have felt the need to parley with the dissidents? She sighs quietly. It's a personal matter. The seditious warden is Lord Evaine's childhood friend. When my lord heard of the riot, the news saddened him greatly, so he rushed here without delay, in hopes of bringing his old friend to his senses, no doubt. The first Winterscale in my memory who prefers to talk first rather than shoot and slash. She smiles slightly. You're quite right. Young Lord Winterscale is not his father's shadow. If he is determined to save his friend, he will try to do so, no matter what obstacles get in his way. Is there anything else I should be appraised of before I set out? Some of the rebels have holed up in the barracks. I don't know how many, but given this is his only way through to where the negotiations are taking place, I would expect heavy resistance. Please take caution, your lordship. Lord Winterscale's guards mined the entrance so that the rebels couldn't get to the shuttle. I have no more questions. You may excuse yourself, pilot. Yeah, can you talk to my boyfriend? Alright. Get it, Argenta. To the barracks!
Abelard, I've been meaning to ask, how are you keeping it together so well? Don't you ever feel awful without her?
Enough, Plus. We have a duty to the new rogue trader. You would do well to focus on that. If you keep your mind busy, you will have less opportunity to fill it with awful things.
Based. Argenta. Move the group up. Just one at a time. Back to Argenta.
Never doubt me.
Grok shit, why me? Why? I missed my tithe payment 12 years ago. 12 years! The Inspector's writ got lost somewhere in the bowels of the planetary administratum and was lying there the whole time, but they made sure to remember to tack on the fines every month. By the time they found the blasted paper, they finally informed me the total sum was so obscene it would take 3 generations of my descendants, if I had any, to pay it off. My fate was sealed. Trial, sentence, prison. All because some daft rotter who shoved my paper in the wrong box. To be fair, I think I got off pretty easy. My bed in the barracks is about as hard as that slab of rockcrete I've got at home. Working in the quarry, blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. Collect it. You have been ambushed. The battle begins. I don't need this tutorial. Thank you. Oh no, I might hit that wretched witch. Like 5 times. GG. Alright, well, let's keep this nice and simple for me. Did you follow back? Oh, you want me to do that, what, right now? Hang on, let's get the old phone. Oh, wait. Phone's right in front of me. I can actually very feasibly do this right now. X. Profile. Oh, there's the notification. So you are very recent. Sure, there you go. Followed you back. You've got a new mutual. Oh, Florida. Oh, hang on, never mind. Are you a meth head Florida or an alligator Florida?
Chaos guides me.
Chaos gonna guide you to the grave, motherfucker. Oh, you think you're clever, don't you? Well, if I attack him...
And so it shall be done.
Never mind. Abelard, go get him. I will appreciate that. Yeah, no worries. You know, us little creators gotta look out for each other. He kicked me!
To non-believers.
I mean, not really me. He kicked Abelard. But still, you can't kick Abelard. It's Abelard. You motherfuckers are gonna be dead. Alright, Argenta, come over here. Yeah, I'm from Florida, and you? I am an Arizona boy. I stake my claim in the desert. Don't you stab my way. You get back here, you fucking pussy.
May the Divine's will be done.
Out of range, my left nutsack. Yeah, gotcha. Boom! Teach you to poke my wife. It's not bad. Not bad at all. That can all go into cargo. Cargo. Car no go. Car stay. Car need gas. Some goods. Oh, yeah. More letters. Emperor hasn't forsaken me. Guy killing his clerk. Honestly, understandable.
The future you see could be the whispers of the archenemy. How can you trust your visions, Adira?
I don't think that's the question you wanted to ask. What you wanted to ask was, how can others bring themselves to trust a despicable psyker like me? Face it, sister. Not everybody's as pig-headed as you are.
I mean, you say that, Adira, but I am gonna have you killed the second the game gives me the opportunity. Heresy has no place on my ship. The symbol before you bears a familiar scent, that of the dark forces of chaos. The chopped up slabs of flesh have been thoroughly washed of any blood. Severed human body parts. Judging by the number of horrid morsels, dozens of victims were slain here. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. My brethren, the dawn is nigh! The Optimates will guide us into a new existence. Optimates? Yes, yes, dear brethren. Have a taste of my steel! Oh, how I've longed for this, my dear brethren. Thank the throne. Normal looking faces. We thought we were gonna die here with these nutters. The old man with a gap-toothed smile drops his weapon and holds out his hands in a placating gesture. Please don't shoot us, your nobleness. Let us speak a word. Well, this is a welcome change. Talking before shooting. Still, Lord Captain, the look of this ragtag bunch hardly inspires trust. Give me a reason not to execute you on the spot. Here's the deal. We're honest, quiet inmates. We didn't want a riot, but, well, sitting it out wasn't really an option either. The warden's lapdogs made short work of those who refused to join in the festivities, so we had to, you know, play along. But that's all it was. Play. We never meant no offence to Governor Medna, nor to the lawful authority of House Witterscale. Give us a chance, eh? We just want to wait until everything blows over, then we can go back to our cells quietly for the rest of our time. A repentant, honest heretic. How novel. Judging by Abelard's tone, the Seneschal is utterly unimpressed by the old man's ingratiating monologue. Tell me more about the warden and the riots. Pah! Why soil your tongue talking about that, heretic? But if you insist, here's how it is. The warden of this here prison, the honourable master, I'm not saying that name, was a crackpot from the start. The previous warden ran things the proper way. Prayer, 1 meal a day, work, a punch in the chompers from the guards, work again. But the new one, do you know what his first decree was? He introduced lunches and dinners. By the 9 devils, that's 3 meals a day. The man was obviously stark raving mad. Things only went downhill from there. The guards quit it with the teeth punching. The warden forbade them. Instead, the overseers started counting which prisoners were digging up more things in the quarry, swinging their pickaxes harder or whatnot. And then, would you believe it, they put together a list of the best workers. If someone on that list also showed good behaviour, that's when they got promoted to an optimate. That's the upper crust among us jailbirds. Well, that's how it was at first. Then the warden decided it's the optimates, not the guards, who should be in charge of punishments. and that it wasn't the overseer's job to watch the prisoners work, it was the Optimates. Well, let me tell you, that's when these goody two-shoes really started to shine. Guards aren't even in the same league as our dear fellows, the Optimates. In the old days, we had maybe 5 or 10 stiffs kicking it in a week. Now we were lucky if it was only 50. And that wasn't even the... Good God, chat, there's so much text here. Hang on, I gotta take a drink. And that wasn't even the end of it. Warden Castiglione moved out of his chambers to live right in the quarry under the dome. And I think something in his new home really scrambled his brain. He began spouting the wildest things like the Optimates are saints who will behold the truth. And he started taking them to the quarry. Not all of them returned. The ones who did, you wouldn't recognize them. More beasts than men. They were butchering people left and right, even guards and overseers. The warden himself had armed them. And that's the whole sob story. But I knew it from the moment he let us have dinners. Oh, this won't end well. Old Codger's right. Whenever nobles start giving handouts to commoners, something always goes wrong. I mean that with all due respect, your lordship. No offense intended. If I spare you, what do I gain from it? Now how can lowly jailbirds hope to thank your noble self? I have an inkling. See, us here, we're, how should I put this, different from the rest of the prisoners in this place. They're all petty thieves from Ricard Minoris, debtors, gutter snipes, they're no one serious. Now we, your nobleness, we're cut from a different cloth altogether. We're fortune seekers from the void. Why don't we tell you we're on Footfall Station? You know Footfall, the only shipyard and the best market in all Coronis expanse. Yeah, so we're on Footfall. You can find some very serious business-minded people. Now you can get yourself a very special discount. What kind of very serious people? The most serious kind, your nobleness. Have you ever heard about the Fellowship of the Void? It's the largest pirate alliance in the expanse. There's no leader, of course, but there's some terribly serious captains who decided that cutting each other's throats over loot was, counterproductive. But cutting throats together, now that's anti-counterproductive. Now, well, their joint efforts leave them with an excess of spoils, so now they need to dispose of it somehow. And I, your nobleness, just happen to know someone who handles such things of dealings on behalf of those very serious people. Chat, would a holy priest, Baldwin IV, pardon pirates? They're pirates and they've taken part in heresy. Consider your request denied. Now die. Unfortunate. I liked him.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Get it, Argenta. Thank you, Argenta.
We should deal with this.
Some goods. Oh, some goods over here, too. Hey, nice. Abelard? Oh, you don't? Well, Abelard, why don't I give you a pistol? Yeah, but my shotgun does more damage. And a shotgun is a more priestly weapon, chat. That knife, though. Ooh. Give the knife to Adira, because she's evil. I'm a simple man, chat. Okay, we built a bridge. Now we're gonna open up this door.
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
Lord Von Valentius, my greetings. May the light of eternal terror shine forevermore. The young man before you offers an impeccably courteous bow. Then he straightens his back and looks you in the eye, not as a show of defiance, but with cool confidence. It is a gaze with which one graces an equal. Yvain Winterscale, younger son of Caligos Winterscale, at your service. Lord Baldwin IV von Valentius, I am pleased to make your acquaintance. As am I. Yvain's voice is soft and immaculately polite. Please accept my apologies for the slight breach of etiquette. Here and now is neither the best place nor time for protracted ceremony. Agreed. Let us discuss the matter at hand. You are here to end a riot, are you not? Yvain's expression is grave. Indeed, it is a personal matter, if you will, and not simply because the incident occurred in a system that belongs to my father. The prison warden, and he used to be a close friend of mine once. I want to give him a chance to come to his senses, lay down his weapons, and stop this senseless uprising. Clear. At one point, he was trying to manage the inmates. Warden of the Heap. Rebelling against lawful authority is heresy. Extending clemency to a heretic? Are you in your right mind? He lowers his head stubbornly. He is my friend and my father's vassal. I do not deny his guilt, but I intend to give him the chance to atone for it. You came here with naught but a single shuttle's worth of guards. Do you not think it foolhardy? So did you, Yvain smiles. I had my doubts, of course, but I am not Governor Medina. I refuse to sit idle in the safety of a bunker. I wanted to do something, and I thought arriving with a light escort would show Anathagon the sincerity of my intentions. Had I arrived at the head of a whole unit, I would not fault Anne for assuming this was an assault. Where's the warden now? He's up ahead somewhere and further below. We exchanged a few words over the Vox, and he said he would meet me in the quarry behind the prison building. Strange choice for negotiations, but those were his conditions. There is worry in his voice. Can I at all dissuade you from this escapade of yours? You cannot. Your lordship. Abelard looks at the young Winterscale with worry. Please, I kindly ask that you not waste your breath. My decision is final. Very well. In that case, I shall accompany you. I must admit I do appreciate your company. This prison is giving me a strong sense of unease. But the lift cannot support both our parties. If you are going ahead, wait for us in the quarry. We will follow shortly. Okay. Chat, my neck is so sore. He said he's going to follow along shortly, so wait a bit. The accusations on the outside of the structure indicate some regularly occurring natural phenomenon. Possibly poison gas emissions. Isn't he supposed to be coming down? Everything in the appearance of the man walking towards you, his every gesture and his very demeanor speaks of noble birth. This creates a stark contrast with his hair, a matted knot that has clearly not seen a brush in weeks, and his crumpled and filthy clothing. His face is pale and his eyes burn feverishly. Who are you? I was expecting my friend, Yvain, not an intrusion. Then your wait is over, Anne. Yvain takes a step forward. However, I do not come alone. I am accompanied by the Honourable Lord von Valancius. The man shoots you a piercing glare. I should have guessed it would be you. What do you want, enemy of Aurora? What madness have you wrought in this prison? Do you truly want to know? He becomes more animated and runs a hand through his matted hair. You note it has been some time since he last trimmed his nails. This was my garden, where I tried to grow the seedlings of a beautiful future. That was before I realized that there is no future, not in the sense ordinary people understand. We are too attached to this life, to the limitations of our weak bodies, to the short-sightedness of our eyes that can scarcely see. It is all so insignificant. The true future lies beyond real space, and the only way to reach it is through cleansing sacrifice. Do you understand? Anne, this isn't you. I do not know how it has come to this, but please let me— Quiet, Evie! I promise I will talk to you. Later, when we are alone. I can't say I'm eager to spend time alone with you. Not after everything I've witnessed on Ricardia Filia, and what I'm witnessing right now. No, we once had this guy back. He was a quiet one. One day he started in the middle deck bar, pulled out a gun, started shooting people, shoved the barrel in his mouth, blew his brains out, blah, 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 blah. How do you know who I am? Lies have many faces, but there is only one truth, and it has been laid bare before me. I knew the enemy of the truth would come here sooner or later. Why did you mutilate these people? These are my optimates, saints who will guide the flock at the fated hour. Listen. He pauses and smiles. Can you hear? You can't? They are crying out, calling. It's just that their cries are not meant for our ears. They cast their voices out there, beyond the edge of the glass, into the transparent quiet. There they are heard. There their call is answered. Rogue Trader, every minute spent talking to this heretic could be a moment spent destroying him and committing this place to purifying flames. Isn't it time we got started? Who is Aurora? Oh! So you've managed to barge in here and interfere with the prophetess's designs without even knowing who she is. But it is too late now. You'll never attain sight. All you can do is accept your fate. He suddenly stirs like a predatory beast. I do not like it when people take the prophetess Aurora's name in vain. I desire your death, enemy of the truth. Wait! The warden raises his hand and the maimed people start thrashing about in their death throes. The time for words has passed! Optimates, give your power to this harbinger of Aurora. Let our foes see truth or become awash in blood.
The impure cannot escape their fate. Come to chaos.
Alright, you're going down there. Abelard, you're going down there. Argenta. You go there. And I'll come there. Bug zap!
do it.
Boom, 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 boom.
Out of my way. Hold on.
Nice shot, loser. Okay, that's not at all what I wanted to do. Sorry, Argenta. It's just important that we break these things.
I serve the ruinous powers.
You serve yo mama!
Away.
What? Abelard doesn't get his turn? Oh, he got knocked prone. Damn it. Boy, damn it.
My faith strengthens me. Here we go.
Nice shot. Holy
Let's get
shit.
to it.
And that was with an auto gun, too. That's insane. Nice shooting, Argenta. Let's go ahead and take that. Which I believe... Ha! Got him, the salami. Well, he dead, chat.
Let's make it quick.
Woo! Get fucked! Yvain approaches the body of his friend and remains silent for some time. Then he looks at the quarry, his gaze dark. Everything here must be purged with fire. Anne, what have you done? May I invite you aboard my ship, Yvain? I would like to continue our acquaintance. I thank you for the invitation, and accept it gladly. I will arrive by my shuttle in a little while. If you'll excuse me, I would like to be alone for the time being. Your eye is drawn to the shards of the enormous lens scattered about the broken device. At first you are uncertain as to what troubles you, but suddenly the realization hits you. The glass shimmers in a unique way, just the same way as the shards of the unknown broken object you found near Theodora von Valencius's desk. What's the matter, Lord Captain? Why are you so interested in... Abelard trails off when he notices what you are looking at. He instantly makes the connection. By the Imperial Saint, it cannot be! Adira bites her lip. I see it too. Whatever that thing in her study was, it was made from the same material as this junk. What? What? Abelard is at a loss for words. He takes a moment to collect himself, and all at once they start pouring out in a hasty sputter. It's a mistake. Slander meant to blemish the good name of a person who is now dead and cannot even defend herself. First, those minions of the archenemy murdered Lord Captain Theodora, and now this cannot be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. Come now, Abelard. Remember what she was like. Idira's smile betrays her grief, but at the same time is strangely knowing. Rise and assertive, blah 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 blah. Sister Argenta's beautiful face is full of grief. How bitter it is to know that you were born from bad blood. But do not let this knowledge drag you into darkness. The sister words ring with a genuine, sincere hope that you be blessed with a worthier fate. She does not appear to be shocked by the news of Theodora's possible heresy. There's enough venom in Idira's voice to poison an entire regiment. Argenta recoils, but the next moment her dark eyes ignite with fury. How dare you admonish me? We are speaking of abetting the archenemy. A person who has tainted themselves thus cannot justify their actions. You just gave up on her and moved on. Witch! You are walking a fine line between outright heresy and the barrel of a bolter. Shut your mouth before I shut it for you. But she... A look from you makes her immediately bite her tongue. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. Hey, sick. Alright, let's get in here and do our levels. Immediately returns to the cell where they started their turn. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. If the Blade Dancer used death from above this turn, the movement repeats. Oh, shit! I'm taking that one. And athletics. Reckless Strike. Yeah, we'll take Reckless Strike. Athletics. Idira, your stuff doesn't matter. Ballistic skill. There it is, controlled shot. Controlled shot should always be taken as early as possible, chat. So that you can just start rapid firing into crowds of your own allies. Dun 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 dun. Collect all. No. There we go. Goods, 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 goody goods, 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 goods. The evidence suggests that the victim was killed by poisonous gas. To the main level. Alright, chat. See, that was pretty easy. Your lordship, the rebellion has been crushed. I have news of your lord. Is Lord Winterscale alive? Is he alright? He is safe and in one piece. I shall receive him as a guest on my ship, Sorelli the Shuttle. There's visible relief on the pilot's face. Clicking her heels together, she cheerfully barks out, "Consider it done, your lordship! Thank you for the good news." Alright, chat, and back up to the void ship we go. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I've received several messages from different decks, complaining about anomalous behaviors in the ship's cogitators and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious, and no tech litany or ritual of pacification can rid them of this obstinacy. The tech priests can deal with the vessel's systems, but the servitors, they make errors in their tasks, disobey orders, change the assigned rituals, or sometimes downright freeze as if in a trance. A click comes through the Vox channel, followed by a weary sigh. Lord Captain, occurrences such as these are caused by errors in cogitator calculations, or have some other sensible explanation. I beseech you not to take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. Oh, don't start, old man. All these peculiar happenings have long since turned from local legends. A door slams shut, a lumen starts flickering. Folk have grown used to all that, so our resident ghost has decided to up the ante. I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse from here. The Technomats inspected the servitors and concluded they pose no danger. According to the servants of the Omnissiah, such behavior is caused either by the echoes of the mines not completely eliminated, or by manifestations of the machine spirit's will. Nevertheless, the faulty servitors make the crew's tasks considerably more difficult, and High Factorum Janri would like to discuss how he should deal with the defective property. He's awaiting your audience on the bridge. Alright, chat. I guess we can go scan Ricard Majoris. As I recall, there's nothing really on here. Yeah. Chat, should we do Urac 5? Let's. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. Vigdis pauses as if listening to something. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Viserian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. Alright, chat. Yay, yay. Drink, drink, drink. Thirsty kitty drinks his orange drink. Me in my gamer chair when Mom brings me my tendies. The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice is the loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant! The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address Lord Captain, not least because you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer will be logged in your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avril Vent requesting permission to speak. Vent falls silent and then adds rashly, on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. I will listen to what you have to say. Speak, Lieutenant. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted, and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Vance is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Saurbeck, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Viserion and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Vent reels off the last word as though she knows them by heart. She's clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she's finished, she casts an ancient glance at Abelard, then at you. There's an insurrection in the making aboard my ship, and no one has informed me. I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we're still battling rumors that the hero has survived his execution, and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, he will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room? I've already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your lordship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not starting it, and not solving it. How did all of this start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. Now, heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. And where does Seneschal Viserion come into all this? I shall explain, Abelard intones grimly. I beg you to hurry. Time is running out. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There's an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars in that system is the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled the internal problems myself, so of course when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. You are far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Viserion. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink, Vance says bitterly. Now there's a strike on the lower decks. In Depot 4, to be precise, 3 worker clans are involved, and many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection. But when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. Abelard, what have you to say to all this? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harbouring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. Chat. I wish they had more voice-acted lines. I'm tired of doing everything. What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors, blah 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 blah. Poor and troubled, blah 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 blah. Master at Arms? The ship's enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. Sauerbeck bows her head in Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Viserian's opinion on the fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mistress Sauerbeck, I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. Alright, I will go down and deal with the problem personally. Praise the Emperor! Vent cannot contain her relief. Thank you, Lord Captain. Abelard grits his teeth slightly. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Lord Captain, I regret the enforcers were unable to handle the situation which then led to you and your seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to Depot 4 myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident. Only, chat, only because I believe that Baldwin IV would act as, you know, hero of the people and go down himself. Because he is, after all, a Ministorum priest. So he's going to be very... He's going to want the chance to talk to peasants and basically manipulate them and get them riled up. Really more of an imam than a priest in that sense. Wow! Nobles from the upper deck down here to see us. Hey, it's Viserion! Take that, scum! Look who it is! This is all his fault! All of it! Abelard reflexively wipes the sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture. A telling one. A rare moment where he allows his age and weariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. The people dared to disrespect a senior officer. They would not have the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here, and if the situation had been dealt with by the relevant officers. Abelard grimaces. It is the junior officer's worst failing to pass problems up the chain of command. I've never been able to abide it. I shall say it again, it was a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Vent's whim, Captain. I must admit that the lieutenant is by no means the worst material for an officer, Abelard adds peevishly. But in the name of terror, the girl is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter, and she has all the gall to tell me how to manage the lower decks and hunt down cultists. It'll be another 20 years at least before she can be trusted to act without oversight. They were shouting your name. Of course they were. The organization of daily, routine life on the ship rests upon my shoulders. The mountain of challenges and problems from which I endeavour to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the lower decks has been a cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why you remember me. Why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them, you are akin to a creature of legend. One who has stood on the steps of the Golden Throne, no less. whereas I'm the man whose name is attached to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heat. Let's continue. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avrila Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of her superior master-at-arms Yokasta Sarbek, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and has now reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order, now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. Vent looks shaken, but there is a fire in her eyes. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all of my lessons fall on deaf ears, Abelard mutters in a crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent, Sarabak looming over her, or both. Your lordship! Noticing you, the 2 officers snap to attention and salute, the subordinates following suit a moment later. We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. Vent's gaze is full of worry and regret. The people are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous. I'm sure the people simply didn't recognize you. It wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. Is that all you have to say? Are you sure you're worthy of an officer's rank, Lieutenant Vent? For a split second, Vent freezes in fear, but she pulls herself together, straightens, and clips out. Forgive me, Lord Captain. I will take steps to ensure such a thing does not happen again. I want to speak to the strikers. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Hope gleams in Lieutenant Vent's eyes. I wish to manipulate the unwashed masses. A dozen pair of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation. From the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. A whisper passes through the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you've come down to us. Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, your lordship, says a tall, thin man in worker's garb. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet, snaps the old woman, who turns her hostile dark eyes on you. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating for the whole base for the week at a time. So we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from an inflammation in the lungs. All because of those enforcers. The old woman spits on the floor and rubs the spittle in with the toe of her worn-out shoe. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes the sign over herself. It's true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidships and has no feeling towards us. The grim man with a scarred face throws up his arms. Your lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. Also, welcome in, Arna. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Hi, yeah, welcome in. How's your day going? How was stream? The persecution started apropos of nothing, you say? I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here. It was good. I'm glad to hear that. Were you still playing Dune? A cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil and forbidden, we didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people, and there have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with. Nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine. I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, those boots were really fine. And there's no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets round here. We'll worship the Emperor. And we're working, we bow down to the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. Same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your lordship, we're people of faith. So we're just not going to answer the question about Dune, I see. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the archenemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? Amen! Preach, Sister Argenta, preach! We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. Last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when the beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbor? Abelard, do you have anything to add? I authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos Worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Abelard frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here, like that one there the lieutenant won't let past. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big, and I'm sure there's some people who have just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. Our death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and glances traded between them revealed that the news of the attack has shocked them. Very well, what changes do you want? Well, would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us, bilge rats, what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here. We want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been a leader in my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve around here. You've gone too far, old man. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for the weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbour out of stupidity and drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies. We'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there's any more of these damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want any empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the anointed one turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before. All because we dared speak out.
Yes, and it'll be by my order too.
The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth, as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. Your thoughts, Abelard? The story about scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity. That does not mean they are not tainted with corruption, which is true. What begins as petty thievery can turn into a far graver problem. I've seen it before. Abelard's face darkens momentarily. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor. Only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like a metal choking vine. So when it comes to scavengers and malcontent strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. Master-at-Arms, where do you stand? Give the rabble a grox and thou take an agri-world, Lord Captain. They only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers would be folly. It would only be a matter of time before we had a full-scale mutiny on our hands. Brothers and sisters under the Emperor, spreading anarchy on the ship is but the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands, and we will consider the rest. The tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sidelong look at the old woman. Oh Nan, listen, listen! The Lord Captain himself has come down to us and is offering us concessions. And I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down! Now's no time to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old Nan. The three clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. The older woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up, I will indeed. I won't go against two clan leaders on my own. But if you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. Right, that's great, just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. Then it's decided. The persecution will stop, and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. Your lordship, thank you. You've not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this. Course, your lordship, we'll root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers, and will leave no stone unturned. Alright. Stopping unexpectedly, Abelard imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at a distance and addresses your other companion, saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Abelard looks at you and his last vestiges of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them in with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? There is some truth to your criticism. I should say so! Abelard heaves a sigh, but he visibly relaxes. You simply needed to trust me. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene, Abelard says irascibly. Remember, Lord Captain, Theodora. Do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Maybe, if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There's a new Lord Captain aboard the ship now, and I will not repeat her mistake. Abelard looks at you, stunned, and exhales loudly. Then he nods curtly. I commend your decisiveness, but I'm uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. And Abelard stands straight at attention. I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. I ain't reading all that. You need to learn to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Start living in the new world. I don't really like either of these. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is just as important to me. You are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on this ship. I think in the future I will follow your recommendations. Now let us leave the lower decks. Oh, chat. Chat. Alright, now I get another level. And perception, Death Warden, race against death, rising to sweep emotions. No, but isn't there... I'll take Dueling Mastery, since I am a melee character. You, it doesn't really matter. agility because it says I can't do any more ballistic. Doing my part. No heresy. Litany. I could take bolt weapon expert. I'm gonna take combat master though, I think. Abelard. Toughness. I think we've got Abelard pretty well. Combat master, dueling mastery. Could take nimble. Take swift movements. Let's do. I saw. There's some for like chain weapon proficiency. There, chain weapon expert. Ooh, +4 maximum damage. Absolutely. We're gonna fuck them up good, chat. Lord Captain, reporting the heralds of the Navi nobility. Continue to maintain... Reporting. Oh, sorry. Let me try that again, chat. Lord Captain, reporting. The heralds of the Navis nobility continue to maintain Vox silence, perhaps due to Yorak 5 being off limits to visitors. We intercepted signals from the beacons drifting in the station's orbit. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. We have also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably it is the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navi Nobilite House requires aid, and therefore cannot respond to our Vox transmission. Oh, that's painful. Fuck. Okay. Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. The Vox relays a cadent sound of grinding gears and clicking tumblers. I am sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply even after an official greeting by a rogue trader, and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Order the Augur screw... the Augur crew to scan the station. Yes, Lord Captain. The Vox remains silent for a while, but then you hear status in Vigdis's measured voice. The officers from the Augur crew performed a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We were able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned, so the question remains, why are these esteemed navigators' heralds ignoring us? Order the crew to commence docking with the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what is happening at the station, so you will have to look for the esteemed navigators blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. We take our full complement. With me, number one. And then chat, the plan is we're gonna do Urak 5, we're gonna get Cassiodora, and probably call the stream there. This has been, about 2 hours.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Wretches! You will be consigned to oblivion for your transgressions against House Orselio. Immortal Emperor, deliver your servants from peril. Prayers will not help you, servant of the damned. In the name of House Orselio, I command you to execute the infidels. Great. Not a step further. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling down the pearly scales of his weary face. And not just his own blood. 2 jet-black, unblinking eyes are watching your every move. And the third one, the mark of a navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lowered lid in the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I will unleash all the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Deceased, brother. It was the Emperor's will that brought me to this abode. The navigator frowns. No one has the right to interpret his will so freely, brother. But wait. I recognize your coat of arms. You must be a lord of the von Valancius dynasty. Yes, I'm absolutely positive, in fact. And since fate has brought such an important person into my abode, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Felix Christoph August, keeper of this station. So you did not come to offer support to the traitors. This is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Yurak 5 is a holy sanctum for House Orselio, and the path to it is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. The navigator looks at his guards and winces. The soldiers are quivering as if their tormented flesh were being flayed, yet they keep clutching their weapons. Command file mutants. Why would a keeper of the station command vile mutants condemned by the Emperor? The blame lies with Theobaldo Celio, the second keeper of the Yurak 5. The old man was a great navigator, but he could no longer control his powers. I begged him to retire, but he was too obsessed with our mistress, Lady Cassia. His madness and stubbornness spelled doom for the entire station, for he opened his third eye in a fit of rage and unleashed the horrors of the warp on those who displeased him. The Theobald I knew would never have used his powers in such a reckless manner. This would be difficult to explain to the uninitiated, but I will try. The warp currents in this system have been tumultuous for dozens of cycles, and have worn the veil between our world and the Immaterium thin and frail. At least here on the station. The ruinous powers, they try to tear it down completely and corrupt all living things. The servants were the first to fall victim to it. Oh, their bodies morphed, and pain and despair drove the poor souls mad. The lunatics took my mistress prisoner and almost destroyed the station, but I rallied the few who still followed the light of the Golden Throne to set things right. The Lord Navigator here is speaking the unvarnished truth. I bet the station is full of voices and whispers, all trying to break through the other side, waiting for you to reach out and swing the door open wide. I sincerely hope the influence of the Immaterium has not yet affected your body and your soul. With all due respect, I advise you not to remain at the station. Return to your void ship. I need to save Lady Cassia. If you are not willing to help or indeed risk your life, you must leave now. What kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you for such a favor under different circumstances, and yet... Felix takes his hand away from his ribcage, notices blood, and winces in pain. And yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness. But you may actually succeed. In order to ascend to the Mistress's chambers, you will need to remake a holy relic, sanctified with the blood of Lady Orselio herself. This is the control rod of the elevator machine spirits. I have one part, and the other was lost during the mutiny. But even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. How do I remake it? Why should I help? How am I supposed to... If it's so simple, do it yourself. I guess that makes sense. The woes of your house upset the balance of power in this part of the galaxy. I will help you if not for the sake of profit, but for the good of the Imperium. Felix nods curtly. You should hurry then. We will stay here to hold the line and lick our wounds. Good luck, rogue trader, and may the Emperor's light be with you. Corpses were mauled by a force far beyond any mortal capacity, blah 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 blah.
White. A pure color. And it's all riddled with horrible veins that carry the poison of fear and pain throughout its body. Who are you? Why are you crying?
If the witch is talking about the enemies of humanity who set upon this abode of noble navigators,
Anything you say,
then
dear.
our weapons will soon dispel their wicked misery.
Amen, sister. Amen. Protect the child! Chat, you'll have to forgive me if I don't do much more voice acting. I'm tired. It's been 2 hours of talking to myself. You gotta cut me some slack, you know? I have a large one. Woo! That was beautiful, chat.
I will not. Follow my lead. Weapon at the ready.
High momentum.
Idira, pop his head.
Break their morale. Stay vigilant.
I must not falter.
Follow my lead.
fucking serious, Argenta? Are you fucking serious, Argenta?
One fewer target. My faith strengthens me.
My faith strengthens me. Oh, that's just a servant. Okay, cool. Chat, I like the Blade Dancer. They're fun. They're great for crowd control. Just like fucking fantastic. All right. Let's go with the improved body glove. That way I get to keep my vestments. Now this one, he's all good. She's all good. I like to put Idira in chainmail because it looks more demonic. Back over to me here. 7 to 10 and 7 to 11. So we will give ourselves a noble Swarade. Precise las pistol, Ripper auto pistol, Scrappy auto gun. Putting the crappy in scrappy. Okay. Seneschal is doing just fine. As he is. I'm not sure if that's a good cape for her, but, you know, we can always change it later. I do always give Argenta my grenades, though. She is my heavy assault character. Okie dokie. Karaoke. Go ahead and check that. Thank you. Check that. Thank you. Do do do.
Damn warp! If we'd been in real space, I'd have.
Spare me your wailing, witch. Every voice that sounds in your mind
Based.
is a whisper of the archenemy.
Based. So true, Queen. So true. You go out with me? Crazy, crazy. Crazy, crazy. Tell me you hate your crew. They're all batty over the likes of you.
That wasn't so difficult.
Okie dokie, and got more stuff from my inventory, like this long las. No dodge penalty, but mine is better. Alright. There you go, Adira. You're welcome. I spoil you. Oh, wait. Clear that hallway. Loot that body. Oh, nice. Ooh, nice. Alright, chat. Alright. 7 to 11? Hell no. Wait. Oh, there it is. 8 to 13. Yeah, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Dara, you don't have gloves, so how about I give you those? That way, if you die, we all get buffs. Isn't that nice? Everyone say thank you to Adira for being a team player. Now, wait. See... There it is. See, I knew I was missing something, chat. There's a door over here. I always forget about this door. The cogitator's vid screen is covered in cracks and strained with dry blood. The buttons, switches, and levers were ripped out of the control panel. Blah, 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 blah. Awaken the cogitator. Request data. Continue. Examine the log. View report. Continue, continue, continue. Examine recent entries. Continue, continue. Station's docking log. Security and life support. Encrypted. Break through the defenses. Turn to a list. Call for help. Switch to the main elevator controls. Open all doors on the level. We did it, chat. We did it. Yay! 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 Main elevator controls. Activate the elevator. Alright, Adira. I got something else for you. You batty bitch.
Let us walk this path to the end.
Okay, chat, and we are good to go. I'm not gonna stay and deal with that puzzle right now. I'm kinda just rushing through to get this done. It's been a long day, it's a long stream. Looking forward to having a couple days off. Alright, Felix. What paths? Who do you see behind the mask? Everything is clear now. Hand over the key. Very well, I'll do it. Fail figure. Lady Cassia, I'm here to help you. Please calm yourself. The only time in history telling a woman to calm down has ever actually worked. Oh no, chat, what are we gonna do? At present, I'm trying to determine... Frightening, service to Alaska. Talking as though you expect to die here, you need help. I know what happened between you and Felix. Felix accused you of treachery. I believe I've made my decision. Felix is a true monster. I never side with Felix, and I never will. Cassie is too cute. Cassia is a cutie patootie babootie. Also, can you imagine this being your room? Place is fucking huge. Oh no, treasonous worm, I should have killed you. Yeah, well you didn't. Nanny nanny boo boo, you can't catch me. Kill them. Fight. He shot my old man. That fucker. Nobody shoots my old man and lives. I just had to do a quick backflip to get over to him, chat. It's fine.
What of course? Be gone!
Another foe painted black.
Chat, this guy's fucking cooked. Thank you, Argenta. Oh no, he's dying. Don't leave me. It's so sad. It really is sad, chat.
Of the war. He fought for his mistress.
I didn't realize this part was voice acted, you fuckers.
Yeah, no. Enough's enough. I've had my fill of waterworks, thank you.
I regret that we had to meet under such circumstances.
What need have I for your regrets? I just want things to go back to the way they were before. What are you going to do to me?
Lady Cassia, I, Baldwin IV, von Valancius, rogue trader of the Imperium of Man, offer you my protection and grant you shelter aboard my vessel.
As a Lady Navigator of House Orcelio, I accept your gracious offer of protection.
Oh, she's gonna need a lot of stuff. I seem to recall she's command and control, so fellowship is good. I'll just take whatever. There we go. No. How do we get to the inventory screen? Oh, right there. Found it, chat. There you go. You can have a knife. And... whew. How about a precise las pistol? Although... There we go, chat. Alright, to the bridge! To the bridge. So, what do we have left to do in the system, chat? I am so glad you asked. We're not going to be doing it tonight, but... we need to do... obviously the main quest, but then there's also that DLC station with the insane people. I have to check that out too. So that'll be next stream, and then maybe after 3 streams we'll finally be able to start the game proper. Because it's a big game. Chat, I do highly recommend this game. It's a lot of fun, especially if you like CRPGs. Yes, mother, you have brought me my nuggies. Welcome aboard. She's in love with me. What do you wish to speak about? She tells me about her rituals. I shall ensure that you get all the supplies. Alright, chat. I think we got just about everything we need. Scary stuff, scary stuff, scary stuff. Leave her undisturbed. And dialogue. Thank you, Victus. Okay. The other thing I want to do, chat, so the astropathic station of Rakad Minoris. There's always some fucking shit with you guys, isn't there? I will say, chat, the constant interruptions from random events on board your ship gets really fucking tiring.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
I see you are fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing. Urak 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
Cassia gently brushes the dust off the cover with her thin, clawed hand, her eyes filled with longing after reminiscing about her lost home. The events that took place on Urak 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Cassia's response is reserved and pointedly decorous, clearly intended to create a distance between you. Are you satisfied with your new attendance?
Your servants are somewhat sluggish when it comes to attending a noblewoman of the Navis nobility, but they are quite tolerable. Thank you for your concern.
Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It's clear she does not feel comfortable aboard a ship teeming with new people. I hope you have had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior and your question just now insulting. Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying. You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I. I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
It is indeed difficult for me to feel empathy for a mutant. However, the crew's well-being hinges on that of its navigator. I love how you could just be the most backhanded racist in the universe. It's great. You have nothing to apologize for, my child. Human emotions are natural, be they good or bad, and it is just as natural to share them with others.
Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urak 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here? At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls, and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but... my delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
I understand what you are going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago.
Indeed. I did not know. That is to say, I could not have known. as it is the first time we are speaking in a circumstance so private. My word, when I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
Perhaps my people did not wish to disturb you.
Or because my presence offends them. Then I must take my leave as well. I am due to inspect the Sanctum Navis after the communion ritual and prepare the chamber for the upcoming warp jump.
Got it, chat. I didn't hit on her because I don't think that's what Baldwin would do. He's too much of a purist. You understand? But on every other playthrough I've ever done, I'm chatting up Cassia. I'm trying to hit that. I'm trying to hit that fish pussy, chat. Fish titties. Remember Vine? Oh, I'm so old. Back in my day, TikToks were called Vines, and they were prank videos and women twerking. None of this thirst trap nonsense you see these days. Vine stars, now that's where the real show was at. You could make a career out of Vine. God damn it! Members of the sacred cult operating aboard the ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Bloodspun Web. The cult defends the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their activities. Very well, I am ready to receive them. I'll commence preparations at once. One of these days, chat, we're gonna get to that ship and start doing our trade. Cool. Chat, I'm seeing future wives in this procession. Those on the deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully in a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
The masked cultists repeat the words in a mournful whisper. We obey still.
Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
She pulls out a sinister curved blade, and similar weapons suddenly appear in the hands of her motionless companions.
And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion. We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibella. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
You've heard many stories about death cults, such as this one. These devoted holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of their faith, while others see their fearsome rituals as frenzied spectacles touched by madness. The cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace, and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out the patterns of bleeding lacerations. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down the tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision. Traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing.
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
Interesting. So a death cult watches over my crew. They who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him. Sacred executioners.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the blood-spun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
Your heart is filled with awe as you gaze at the cultists. You recognize this feeling. You have experienced it before when you walked through the scorching flame and survived. The eyes of your grim guests burn bright with sacrificial fervor. They serve the God Emperor with wholehearted faith and devotion. What exactly does a cult like the Blood-Spun Web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others, the virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One.
You have my blessing. May your blades bring swift death to the Emperor's enemies.
The blood-spun web will not forget your words, Domin. They are the wisdom of the tenets and the benediction of our duty.
Tell me about yourself, Cabela. Are you the leader of the Blood-Spun Web, or its herald, or its servant?
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts.
And why have you brought this rabble to the upper decks?
So you may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One, is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself. Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
Give weapons to the traitors. It is time for Cabela to prove herself.
A dagger that has not sliced through sinew is nothing more than a toy. Let the final dance begin.
I feel like giving them rifles for a melee fight is kind of bullshit.
Won't save you.
Oh, I get to control her. Okay. That was easy. Ah.
Tribute to the undying Emperor! Trust me.
Chaos guides me.
I shall not.
Bloody, bloody, bloody. Chat, I can fix her. Actually, chat, I can make her worse. A cut to the heart, a cut to the throat, a cut to the stomach. These wounds have been inflicted according to his pleasure. The blood of the apostates will wash away the stain of their treachery, so that their souls may prostrate themselves before the Undying One's throne and beg his forgiveness. Cabela wipes the blood from her blade in one swift movement. I have acted with the reverence and shown proof of my loyalty. Will you accept me, Domin Baldwin the Fourth? Will you make me your shield and shadow? Your lordship, the spinners of the blood-spun web were watching, tracking and killing von Valencia's enemies long before the warrant of trade passed to Lady Theodora. However, the blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. The factotum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance at Cabela. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had a good reason. The Master-at-Arms clears her throat. The cultists are a scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the blood-spun web, for we share a common goal, to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of this ship. Scourge of the seditious and not folks are afraid of them for a reason. A couple watches ago, these spinners took... I don't care. Bloodspun web hit the prison. You will be my shadow, Cabela. Cabela's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Domin Baldwin, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One, for so it was ordained, and so his terror forspoke. The young woman bows her head once more. I also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the Blood-Spun Web. He wishes you to know that the doors of the Undying One's temple are open to you. Go down to the depths and search the flagship with all due respect, lower decks. Forspoke, who's the vizier? I'm not permitted to say. Now, can I finally go to the pirate ship to sell some of my cargo, please? If there are no more interruptions. To the map, to the map, to the map, map. Oh, thank God. Establish communication. Damage report. Stop playing games. Prepare for commercial exchange. Yeah, really. Chat, I guess I need more tradable gear. There we go. Soul pattern chain sword. I want one of them. Now power them all. Alright. Alright, chat, and that is as good a place as any to save. So, I thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful night. I know the stream ran a lot longer than we were planning. I will see all of you on Wednesday, where we will be doing Warhammer. It's now Warhammer Wednesdays. And, more Hammer Mondays. Yeah. So Mondays and Wednesdays are Rogue Trader for now. Subject to change according to my whim, of course. And then on Saturday/Sunday, we do Near Automata. So I will see you guys then, but thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a